Hello, my name is Barragán Figaredo, and this is my evidence theory. In my evidence, I will talk about some events from the 90s to nowadays. Then, I'm going to explain some terms, following by some questions of these terms. And finally, I'm gonna give my conclusions about the events and the terms. The first event of my presentation was in 1997, called the instant gratification. This consists about the Amazon introduced a small feature called One Click, which enabled customers to securely store their credit card information online and make all future purchases with a single tap of their mouse. The second was on 2003, our human knowledge expands. When the Human Genome Project finished its DNA map, it had big implications for science, medicine, and business. In 2007, the Apple effect. In the 8 years since Steve Jobs introduced those ubiquitous little devices in June 2007, they have altered our daily routines in countless ways. But the smartphone's impact has been far greater than just changing the UX of our lives. In 2009, social media goes global. Social media sites are still growing exponentially, but not in the States. While the US market has grown slower than last year because of the high saturation of the market, the global market is doubling or more in popularity. For instance, Facebook grew 153% this year, and only 38% of that was domestic growth. And finally, in this year, 2020, coronavirus. COVID-19 is the most recently discovered infectious disease caused by the coronavirus. Both this new virus and the disease it caused were unknown before the outbreak broke out in Wuhan, China, in December of 2019. Now, let's talk about the terms. The first one is globalization. Globalization is a historical process of world integration in the economic, political, technological, social, and cultural spheres, which has made the world an increasingly interconnected place. In that sense, this process is said to have made the world a global village. Second one is terrorism. Terrorism is the use of force or violence against persons or property in violation of the criminal laws of the United States for the purpose of intimidation, coercion, or socialization of ransom money. It can be now the unipolar war. A unipolar war refers to two or more countries coming together to make some change, to support each other, to fight some problem, to fight a battle, or other things. They can be countries from the same continent or from different ones. They can be based on different aspects such as the economy, sociopolitics, among others. The last term is digital era. It refers to the current era that offers a virtual space known as the Internet. This space is characterized by the speed of communication that has transformed the social environment in which we live, even our way of interacting. Term questions. Why did deglobalization emerge? It is the result of a long historical process that occurs due to the combination of a set of factors, which includes the development of navigation techniques, the expansion of commercial relations, as well as the diffusion of values, institutions, and the culture from Europe. What caused the terrorist attacks from the 20th century? The search of human freedom, which is the main objective of every anarchist theorist. This is to destroy any attempt to regulate men's activity as expressed in these words or in Bakunin's words. The state is an abstraction that devours popular life. How does the end of Cold War relate with the unipolar world? With the end of the Cold War and the collapse of the Soviet Union, the United States became the only superpower of the moment. Specifically, in the last decade of the 20th century and the beginning of the first decade of the 21st century, since 1991. How has the digital era influenced today's society? Technology influences society in aspects as varied as agriculture, education, communication, politics, or work. It is a tool that has modified the way in which society develops. Human beings use technology to communicate, to travel, to learn, in short, to make our life easier. Finally, I'm gonna give my conclusions of the events and the terms of this evidence. 3. To conclude my evidence, I can say that I enjoyed this subject the entire semester, and I thank you, Miss, for letting us know more about the history of the world. Now, talking about the events from the 90s to 2020, they all go hand in hand because technology is required for the research of each theme. Furthermore, without the fact that technology is a tool, more later the internet comes to help us in our daily life. Also, the four terms that I look for are deeply rooted since one caused the other and so on. For example, due to the digital age, terrorism has intensified not only in the text, but in messages around the world transmitted through social networks. Thank you. That's all.